Okay, so let's unpack this. I want you to just picture yourself in a high-stakes meeting for a second.
The kind where your palms are a little sweaty.
Exactly. You've got the data, you've got the strategy. You are absolutely ready to impress. The room is silent, everyone's looking at you, and you go to ask a critical question. But instead of sounding confident, you just, you stumble.
Yeah, on a tiny little word, and just like that, the air just leaves the room.
It's awful, right? That split second of panic, you see it in their eyes. They aren't thinking about your brilliant strategy anymore.
No, they're thinking, wait, did they just say that wrong? It's a
Wrong.
real nightmare scenario.
And it feels so unfair that something so small can, tank your credibility so fast.
It does feel unfair, but it's a reality. And what's interesting here in the guide we're looking at is the perspective shift. We think of it as a language failure, but it's actually a mechanical failure.
A mechanical failure. They call it grammatical friction.
And that name is perfect. It's like metal grinding on metal in the listener's brain. It distracts them from your data.
So the plan today isn't to memorize more rules.
No, absolutely not. We're going to treat this like an engineering challenge. We're going to master the mechanics of asking questions with do and does and turn those flat statements into precision tools.
I love that. And this guide, it's not a textbook. It looks like a set of blueprints for a high-performance engine.
Exactly. So let's start with this first concept here, the mechanics of inquiry.
This visual is it's wild. It's drawn like an old patent. You've got gears, pistons, and on the far left, this huge gear labeled D.
That's our do or does. And notice the label, interrogative force.
Right. Why do you need force just to ask a question?
Because questions are heavy lifting. A statement is easy. The data is good. Subject leads. But for a question, you need a new force to pull the whole thing forward. That D gear literally moves to the front to get things started.
So it's the starter motor.
It's the starter motor. And look, it connects directly to the next gear, the subject component, the actor.
And the teeth on those gears?
Yeah.
They have to mesh perfectly.
That is the crucial principle. The auxiliary drives the subject. If they don't align, the whole machine just jams.
And from there, it flows to the main verb actuation, the action, and then the object complement system at the end.
Right. But the key takeaway is that gauge at the very end. Query status, active. This entire mechanism is built to produce one thing, a working, active question.
It completely changes how you see a sentence. And this next idea really drives that home, the structural engine of inquiry.
This is such a powerful contrast. Look at the visualization for a statement on the left.
It's just a flat line, static, kind of boring, actually.
Because statements are static, they just stay facts. But now look at the inquiry on the right.
Whoa. That is a full-blown V6 engine, pistons firing, crankshafts turning.
And that's the difference. Do and does aren't just filler words. They are the structural engine. When you use them correctly, you're signaling that an inquiry is active. It's dynamic, powerful.
So if I say, you like coffee, that's the flat line. But if I say, do you like coffee?
You've fired up the engine, you've engaged the whole mechanism.
Yeah.
But for that engine to run smooth, you need the foundation.
Which brings us to subject-verb alignment.
Right. And this visual zooms right in on those two main gears meshing, the subject and the auxiliary.
The protocol seems so simple. Step 1, identify the subject. Step 2, select the auxiliary. But this is where it all goes wrong, isn't it?
This is where the gears grind. As the note says, alignment critical. If they don't mesh, the engine stalls. You lose all your momentum.
Okay, but in the heat of a meeting, I can't be diagramming sentences in my head. How do I pick the right gear instantly?
You don't guess. You use what the guide calls the tool selection matrix. It's basically a flowchart.
I see it. It starts with input. Identify subject category, then it splits into two paths. Let's take path A on the left.
Okay, path is for third-person singular. So if your subject is he, she, it, or any single specific thing, a person, an object, an animal, you follow the orange arrows.
And the output is the orange gear labeled does.
Correct. Now, path B, that's for non-third person plural.
So that's I, you, we, they, and any plural group.
Yep. And that path leads you straight to the blue gear labeled do.
It's a binary choice. It simplifies everything down to a toggle switch. Is it third person singular? Yes or no?
That's it. Let's see it in action with these operating protocols. First up, do's.
Reserved for third person singular. Okay, the first example is a scientist. Does the scientist analyze the data?
The scientist,
Yeah.
one person, singular. So you use do's.
Next, a dog. Does the dog guard the house?
An animal, but it's singular. It's an it, so does.
And finally, a machine. Does the machine require maintenance?
Singular object. It's always does. It doesn't matter if it's a person, an animal, or a thing. If it's one and it's third person, the tool is does.
Got it. Okay, let's flip the switch to the other protocol, do, the versatile one.
Right, this handles everything else. First example here, the colleagues.
Do the colleagues meet every Monday? Colleagues, plural, so do.
Makes sense. Then we have a sports team, the team.
Do the team members travel together? Members, plural again, so do.
And then there's the special case, the concept of you.
Do you understand the new protocol?
You is the odd one out. Even if you're talking to just one person, the mechanics of English grammar always pair you with do.
So saying does you is it's mechanically impossible.
It's a broken gear. It creates that friction we were talking about.
Which leads us right to this big warning in the guide. Warning, grammatical friction.
And that graphic is intense. Two gears grinding, sparks flying, system stress.
This is what happens when you mismatch do the manager or does the engineers.
Exactly. You're forcing parts together that don't fit. And the guide calls the impact a jarring effect.
That's the key. It's distracting. Professional poise requires the listener to focus on the data, not the mechanics.
If you mess up the gears, they stop thinking about your numbers and start thinking about your grammar. And you've lost them.
So how do we build the muscle memory to avoid that? The guide has this 4-step assembly line.
This is a brilliant way to visualize it. It's a process for converting a negative statement into a positive question. If you can master this, you've mastered the structure.
Okay, let's walk through it. Step 1, establish negative baseline. Step 2, relocate and capitalize. Step 3, adjust punctuation. Step 4, eliminate not.
Let's use their example. Phase 1 starts with the baseline sentence.
The mechanic does not repair the car.
Okay, so does is right there in the middle, helping out not. Now, watch what happens in step 2, the move.
The word does literally detaches, flies over the subject, and lands at the very front. And it gets capitalized.
Now it's leading the construction. We have, does the mechanic not repair the car?
But we're not done. We want a positive question. So phase 2.
Step 3, simple but crucial. The period at the end flips into a question mark.
And step 4, elimination. A big orange X just crosses out the word not.
We extract the negative. So the final output on the conveyor belt is,
does the mechanic repair the car?
Perfect. But wait, there's one more critical hidden rule in that final sentence. Look at the verb repair.
Right, it's just repair, not repair.
Exactly. This is the base form imperative. There's a formula for it here.
It looks like a math equation. Odos plus subject plus base verb, correct.
And look underneath. It says NOS or S. This is the S factor. The logic is does is already acting as the singular marker. It has stolen the S from the verb.
Wait, I love that way of thinking about it. Does is a thief.
Think of it that way. It took the S from repairs to become does. So the main verb has nothing left. It's empty-handed.
So saying does he works is redundant. You're double marking it.
You're being inefficient. Engineers hate that. The main verb must return to its simplest state, its base form.
That is the most common mistake I hear. Does she goes or does it work? It sounds wrong.
It should. It's mechanically unsound. The quality control section shows this perfectly. Fail state versus pass state.
Okay, fail state in the red zone. Does the architect designs the building? The S is circled in red. Redundant.
It failed inspection. Clunky. Now look at the pass state in green.
Does the architect design the building? Clean. Efficient. Base form gets a green check mark.
Let's look at the plural example. Fail. Do the pilots verifies the flight plan?
That sounds terrible.
Pass. Do the pilots verify the flight plan?
Flows so much better. Okay, I think we're ready for the system stress test. It's a rapid fire round.
I'm ready. Let's run it.
Okay, first one. Does the manager attend the meeting?
Check. Manager is third person singular. Does is correct. Attend is base form.
Do the engineers finalize the blueprints?
Check. Engineers is plural. Do is aligned.
Does the baker bake bread?
Check. Bake is the base form. No S because does stole it. Verified.
Do the accountants submit the report?
Check. Accountants, plural subject. Do meshes perfectly.
Last one. Does the system process the data?
Check. System is a singular object. Does is the right driver. All systems are go.
You know, hearing them back to back like that, you can really feel the rhythm. It's clean, precise.
That's the sound of a well-oiled machine. And to keep it that way, there's a final visual, the operator's checklist.
It's a little clipboard. This is what you need to mentally carry into every meeting. 3 boxes to tick.
Box 1. Identify the subject. Ask yourself, is it third person singular?
Box 2.
Yeah.
Select the tool. Use does for singles, do for others.
And box 3. Maintain integrity. Keep that main verb in its base form. Drop the S. That's the verb form stabilizer.
And the quote at the bottom sums it all up. Precision in grammar leads to professional confidence.
That is the goal. The mechanism itself is direct. The application, though, that's up to you.
So here's our final thought for you. The next time you're drafting an email or about to speak up in a meeting, just take a half second. Visualize the gears.
And ask yourself, am I just talking or am I operating a precision engine? Because when you visualize that D gear moving to the front, you're not just using grammar, you're commanding attention.
Keep those gears meshed, keep your engines running smooth, and go build some questions that get you answers. Thanks for diving in with us.
Until next time.